Time to do our political fast talk.
Okay.
We have 60 seconds to do this. Senator Bongbong, bakit hindi dapat iboto si VP Leni Robredo?
Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. Today I am going to make a new video, so please whatever.
Specifically, the issue of mining, which is one of the most controversial environmental issues. Noong Abril 2021, President Duterte lifted yung 9 na taon na moratorium on granting new mining permits. Sir Bongbong, you're applying to become the next president of the Philippines. If elected, pagtitibayin mo ba ang mga desisyong ito ni President Duterte at sa kanang DNR o ipapawalang bisa?
We have sufficient regulations and we have sufficient monitoring, but hindi nasusunod. That is always the problem. We have the laws, but we are not able to implement them. We are not able to fully enforce them sometimes. So if we can do that, if we can take care of making sure that the environmental impact is in accordance with the law, then I think we can carefully exploit the natural resources to help the recovery of our economy.
Aking katanungan po, kung ikay papalarin manalo bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, and given the unpredictability and the viciousness of this virus, ano po ang iyong programa pagdating sa COVID-19?
Well, when it comes to COVID-19, ang lagi kong sinasabi dyan, I summarize it very simply. I call it jab to jobs. What we first have to do is to get vaccinated. And we have to roll out the vaccines properly. We have to make sure that the vaccines are effective and safe, have been handled properly. And now we have gotten to the point, the last statistic that I saw was 54 million Filipinos have been nabakunahan na, fully vaccinated na. Hindi pa tayo umaabot dun sa tinatawag na herd immunity. Kailangan talaga natin paabutin ng 70-75%. So we have to come back to give our people, get them back to work. And how do we do that? We do that, in my view, we do that by revitalizing the MSMEs, the small businesses that comprise 95% of our businesses and 62% of our employment in businesses. And they have been very hard hit. The government can help them with the lower taxes or tax holidays, amnesties, etc. The private sector can come in with microfinancing and all that. Agriculture also needs to be looked at because it's a creator of jobs.
Ang aking katanungan, Senador, sa kasalukuyan, sabi ng PSA, merong 3.5 milyong Pilipino na walang trabaho, 2.5 milyong Pilipino naman ang nagugutom pag ikay nahalal na presidente ng Pilipinas. With these urgent problems of joblessness and hunger, ano po ang inyong gagawin?
Ngayon, ayuda pa rin, yung tupad pa rin, yung AX pa rin. Diyan nabubuhay pa ang tao sa ngayon eh. Hanggat yung mga trabahong pinag-uusapan natin, hanggat lumabas na yan at hanggang may pagkakataon na sila na makapagtrabaho ulit, umaasa talaga sila diyan. At
Can the government afford that?
The government, not forever. Certainly not forever. But we still have to find ways. That's why the government talagang nag-realign ng pondo nalipat from other departments dahil para i-concentrate dito. But but even Filipinos understand that hindi ito forever, kaya kailangan may trabaho. Ngunit sa ngayon, hanggat wala pa yung trabaho, talagang umaasa ang tao sa ayuda. As you say, 11% of the GDP is provided by the remittances of our OFWs. Let us recognize the contribution that they are doing to the economy and to the country. Marami mga nagsasabi, mga bagong bayani, sila talagang dapat na malaki ang utang loob natin sa kanila. Ngunit hindi natin sila tinutulungan. Now, they have just passed the creation of the
Department of Migrant Workers.
Of migrant workers. Well, we have to be grow the economy well enough so that we can say you have a choice. Kung nais ninyong magtrabaho sa labas,
At kung dito sa Pilipinas,
o kung gusto niyo sa Pilipinas, may trabaho naman dito.
Pero pakiulit lang, Senador, tama ba ang aking pagkaunawa that the ideal for you is
Yes.
that walang aalis sa bansa na naghahanap ng trabaho?
Not by necessity.
Not by necessity.
Not by necessity. Sasabihin na, may trabaho dito, pero may nakita akong mas maganda, 6 months muna
It's
yung
a
kontrata.
choice.
It's a choice that they must have a choice. These people that have left have no choice because they could not find jobs here in the Philippines. I know it is a difficult ideal to achieve, but we must always work to the idea.
My question is this. Hypothetical, nalaman at na-confirm mo na ang iyong menor de edad na anak is addicted to cyber porn. Ano ang iyong gagawin, number one, bilang magulang? At ano ang magiging pulisiya mo pagdating sa welfare and protection of children?
The parents have to be involved in this and in explaining that this is harmful. We have to, the parent teachers are involved. All of the mentors of children have to tell them, have to explain to them that this is not the way we live.
How will you put it into policy as president of the country?
Oh, that is very, very difficult because that is something that that really comes not from government. Government has very little control over what is put over the internet.
But this is the internet and social media.
Yes, that's
right?
the problem. That's the problem. You cannot stop the internet, and you cannot turn it off. Perhaps if you were China, but then because they've closed off all kinds of portals. But it's not something that the government can legislate. I don't believe that the government can legislate. It's a social problem that needs to be dealt with at the social level, at the familial level, at the teacher level, and also we expose them to what we think are normal and what we think that they should emulate. And say, this is what, ito yung gagayahin ninyo. Ito yung mga magagaling, ito yung masisipag, ito yung mababait. Huwag yung mga kalukuhan na
How much can government do?
Only so much, but you can make sure that, for example, that sex education classes are done properly in school, that it's taught in a way that young kids can understand. The other problem about pornography that is, for me, might be even a little more worrying is the source of child pornography. We are always cited as one of the largest sources of child pornography. This for me is the most reprehensible crime that is possible to commit.
Ito po ang aking katanungan. Bilang presidente, at kung ika'y papalarin maging presidente ng Pilipinas, do you think, Senator Bongbong, is it time to enact a law on abortion that would allow pregnant rape victims the choice of legal and safe abortion?
To avoid all of that, we can make it very distinct and say rape victims, victims of incest. If the mother's life, health is in danger, if they take the pregnancy to full term, maybe that will be another possibility. But beyond that, I don't think we need to do more than that when it comes
Senator
to abortion.
Bongbong, this is totally against the position of the Catholic Church. Tayo'y 80% or more Catholics in this country, at ang sinasabi ng ating relihiyon ay walang conditions, abortion is not allowed. It is killing an innocent human being inside the womb of a mother. What do you say to that argument?
Well, I cannot argue theology. All I argue is what the statistics that you have given me. 60,000 people, 60,000 are hospitalized. Is that the figure?
Yeah.
Because of botched abortions. How many women die?
Every day.
That's more what I'm.
And that's a more important consideration to you than, religion.
If you're a public administrator, that should be the concern. Is this death rate so high? And we can do in one fell swoop, maybe we can avoid a large percentage of that. We should do it. Again, as a public administrator and as a public servant, what you are looking to is to avoid all of these tragedies. Every single one of these statistics that you have read is a tragedy in itself. It affects the woman involved, it affects the entire family, generally it affects the community, it affects them for the rest of their lives.
My question, you are applying to be president of the country. Senator Bongbong, how much do you know about illegal drugs in the country? Gaano kalala ito? Are we or are we not a narco country? Depende sa iyong kaalaman tungkol sa problema ng illegal drugs. Ano po ang programa mo laban dito?
Kailangan natin din pag-aralan ang prevention at saka ang cure. Ang prevention, ang pagtuturo sa ating mga kabataan na huwag silang papasok dyan sa ganyang klaseng bisyo, sa ganyang klaseng buhay, at masisira at mawawasak ang kanilang buhay. Kailangan paulit-ulit natin sinasabi all the way to grade school, paulit-ulit through high school na hindi talaga, na naririnig talaga nila yan. And the other thing is yung cure. Pagka sumabit na talaga yung tao, na-addict na, meron tayong rehab naman. When we treat them properly, we should expand our rehabilitation facilities, not just regional, which until hanggang bawat probinsya siguro dapat meron, dahil malala talaga ang problema. And I think, it's not a problem that will be solved by only the police, only maybe the military.
Sabi niyo po, ipagpapatuloy ko ang war on drugs.
Yes.
Is it going to be bloody?
Well, even in the enforcement side, my idea is to make it more focused. Because medyo wholesale ngayon ang enforcement. That i-focus natin dun sa mga malalaki talaga. Doon, kilala naman ng lahat yan eh. Malalaman talaga eh. Even a normal person, they know who the drug boss is in their community. So, yun ang i-target natin.
Katanungan ko ito. Kung ikaw ang papalaring manalo bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, how do you intend to pay the national debt of the country?
By revitalizing the economy. There's no other way. There is no other way to do it. We have to create value in our economy. And that value will be what we will use to service those debts. In the business world, to maximize whatever funding you have, you take on some debt. So that imbis na 100,000 ang pera mo, ay nakakuha ka ng 200, 300 na utang, mas marami kang magagawa, mas magandang negosyo mo, madali mong bayaran yung utang. The secret, I think, the important thing that we must be absolutely sure of is that pag kailangan talaga ng utang, mahirap mangutang, ayaw natin gawin yan, ngunit paminsan-minsan kailangan talaga natin gawin yan, tiyakin naman natin na napupunta sa tama. Napupunta sa magandang programa, hindi napupunta sa bulsa ng kung sino man lang. Hindi naman nawawaldas, nasasayang lang dahil sa walang kwentang paggamit. We have to make sure that the debt that we are taking on is put to good use so that it generates something in the economy, so that we have not only do we make a profit out of it, but we're able to service the debt.
Tanong, bilang presidente ng Pilipinas, you are also the chief architect of foreign policy. My question is, you are applying to be president of this country. If all diplomatic efforts fail, do you think the Philippines is strong enough and prepared to fight a defensive war against China to protect our territorial sovereignty?
Well, first of all, I go back to the premise. We must not allow diplomacy to fail. It is the only option that we have. That territory is lost or gained is through war. Now, that, I believe, is an option that we must dismiss outright, because it is a completely ludicrous assertion that going to war with China is going to be advantageous to the Philippines or even to China, for that matter. Nobody wants to go to war. China does not want to go to war. The Philippines must not go to war. The third way is by bilateral agreement. And that's what we are left with. Bilateral agreement with China. We must continue to engage China. So if you talk about pure military capability, I think we all know that to compare the military capability of the Philippines, even if we are building up and we are modernizing our AFP, malayong-malayo talaga tayo sa China when it comes to men and material and capability to fight a shooting war. So, wag na natin pag-usapan yun dahil hindi talaga option yun. We must continue to engage the Chinese. And the diplomatic, pag nagpapadala tayo ng diplomatic protest, hindi sapat yun. We have to still continue to try and engage them in all many ways. I always use the example of the United States and China. Maalala ninyo, naging malapit nagkaroon ng diplomatic relations ang China at saka ang United States. Nagsimula ang usapan sa ping-pong. Sino naman may akala doon manggagaling yung solusyon? Kaya't subukan natin lahat ng paraan. Yung mga negosyanteng Chinese na may pamilya pa sa China, sabihin naman nila, baka matulungan nyo naman kami dito para baka maayos natin ito. Yung unahin natin, yung maliit lang na bagay, yung mga fisherman na hindi pinapapasok, yung mga mangingisda natin na siguro 100 taong na nangingisda doon, ngayon hindi na sila pwedeng pumasok. Unahin na muna natin yun. Yung kayang-kaya naman siguro na natin kausapin ng China, pabayaan nyo sila.
Senator Bong, tuloy-tuloy ang ating diplomasya. I mean, diplomatic, because you said diplomacy must not fail. Pero paano ka makikipag-negotiate sa bayang China na nakikipag-usap ka, halimbawa, pero hindi ka naman siniseryoso? I'll go to the point of the US and China, the ping-pong diplomacy. That's fine. But you know, China and the United States of America are on equal footing. Those are both superpowers. This is the Philippines and China. Maliit na bayan. Hindi tayo siniseryoso. Nakikipag-usap tayo, pero patuloy naman ang kanilang pagbibuild ng mga structures sa West Philippine Sea. So how do you continue diplomacy?
I think that we must engage. There is no other way. Anong ibang mga solusyon? Sasabihin natin, yung United States, pumasok uli kayo dito sa Pilipinas, kayo mag-defend sa atin. Hindi na pwede yun. Hindi na, kasi kuminsan...
Pero malaki ang interest nila sa South China Sea.
Malaki talaga ang interest nila sa South China Sea.
That's about over $5 trillion that pass through.
But we have to get past the old thinking ng Cold War na meron tinatawag na spheres of influence.
Yeah.
Bawat bansa namimili sa US kami, sa Soviet Union kami. Hindi na ganun ngayon. Ang iisipin lang natin, ano yung mabuti para sa Pilipinas? We continue to engage. Of course, we have a very strong, traditional, institutional relationship, special relationship with the United States.
Did you say you would invite the United States to get involved and help us?
No. That is the problem is between China and us.
So the United States should be out.
If the Americans come in, it's bound to fail. Because you're putting the two protagonists together. And we must understand, dalawang superpower na nasa gitna tayo, lit-lit natin. Ang biro ko nga, bumahing lang na sa bayan, mawawala na tayo sa mundo.
To be the president. Right now, as we talk, Senator Bongbong, napapanahon na ba para amyendahan ang provision na ito ng saligang batas? Oo, hindi, bakit?
Dahil, palagay ko hindi. Dahil the concept behind the way the Constitution has approached the qualifications for president is to come from the point na sinasabi, anyone should be allowed to be president. Dahil mahirap, hindi nakapag-graduate, pero marunong naman, dapat kung talagang kaya, pwede siyang maging Pangulo. Hindi kailangan ng mga maging mayaman, hindi kailangan maging sikat, all of these things. And that's the idea behind that. But we also have to recognize that I agree, everyone should be allowed to be president. But not everyone can be a good president. So we have to pick, the fix, if you want to call it that, for that, is not to amend the Constitution and to amend the qualifications for president. It is to change the political system in terms of our choice of candidates.